America's Heartland. This is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa.
Here we go. It's on.
Yeah, they're from Longview, Texas. Call themselves the Highway 80 Band on our Positive Rock Show. As we get into that, as our emerging artist new artists, new music on GJRB. Gary J. Russell with you here on Positive Rock Show. And way overdue, but coming up this next half hour, we're going to have our sports page. Weather on the fives around 5:35 as we wrap up our Positive Rock Show today in our final segment. And of course, our program schedule coming up right now. Got some good programs coming up, by the way. Speaking of which, I want to remind you once again that next week we're going to have our GJRB podcast, our schedule update. Now, there's some schedule changes I had to do. I had to sit down and tweak our schedule a little bit. Some different changes being made, and to accommodate little emergencies that come up that cancel shows. Now, I know a lot of you say, this show's supposed to be on, but you post it again, just cancel it. Or if you cancel your posting, people look forward to hearing the show, and then when it gets canceled, it's kind of disappointing. And I know that. And so I'm working on a new plan that I wouldn't have to cancel shows much. There will be, if it's canceled for any reason, family emergencies, what have you, another schedule backup day is already in the plans. So, in other words, if a show is canceled on a Monday, more than likely will be on Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay, Tuesday or Wednesday, usually. And our GJRB schedule update will be coming up next week, and I'll have a podcast up for you during our GJRB podcast weekend. And I'll give you the full rundown of what I'm doing in the schedule, what's new, and how it's being tweaked. I'm doing the new color-coded schedule. Each show has its own color, somewhat. About 3 or 4 colors I'm using. I think it's about 3 or 4 colors. Anyway, and I'm putting it in there in place. Each show has its own color, and the programs will always be on the same day every week. Every week will be the same. I put it in there. There's always going to be a space of 2 or 3 days at the top of the month and toward the end of the month for production. Okay? Those are always going to be that way. All shows will have a backup day. Usually the next day or the day after that. Okay? And I'll give you the program schedule and let you know how all that's going to work out. Next week when I do our GJRB schedule update podcast. Now, coming up on this weekend's podcast weekend, it's going to be the last 7 days being re-uploaded from February 11th. Like I said earlier, there was no last 7 days this week. Usually held on a Wednesday morning at our pastor's house. And it didn't happen this week. So it will be rescheduled. We probably will be back on with a new last 7 days, probably within a couple of weeks. Now, if that changes, I will post on my Facebook page, my Twitter page, and Google Plus page, as well as right here on Spreaker for any change announcements. If there's going to be a last 7 days, I'll just say an all new last 7 days coming up this weekend, our GJR podcast weekend. But this weekend, it's going to be a last 7 days, but it's going to be a rebroadcast of February 11th. Okay, just to let you know about a rebroadcast of February 11th program. So just to let you know about that, and be aware that those are the changes being made. And I'll keep you updated on that, just to let you know how it's all going to get changed and everything. And I'll give you the program schedule as well for this week. Don't forget that on Monday, no broadcast on Spreaker. No programming on Monday or Tuesday next week. As a matter of fact, the next broadcast coming up next week probably won't be until next Friday. That will be that'll be coming up next week. Not until next Friday. That will be the Gary Wrestling Program Freestyle Friday edition next Friday. And then don't forget, we'll be on Friday this week. Starting on at about noon Central Time, tentatively, for Smooth Jazz and Smooth Afternoon. So tune in for that. Smooth Jazz, Smooth Afternoon will be coming up this week on a Friday. Smooth Jazz, Smooth Afternoon. And that show, as I will mention on my podcast, will also be a floating show. Possibility. So details on that on my GJRB podcast, schedule update podcast. The schedule update podcast will be uploaded next week here on GJRB Online for details on those program changes. And we'll be on